Good morning, Facebook, and welcome to the Halloween special of the digital copy. I love dressing up. Did I ever tell you I love dressing up? I love dressing up and I love Halloween. When I was a kid, I used to have a Halloween party every year. I insisted it was more important than my birthday party. And in England, when I was growing up, hi, I can see someone's joined us. In England, when I was growing up, hi, Una Ming, do you like my skeleton costume? People didn't really do Halloween. It wasn't such a big thing. It did start, hi Kate, how are you? It did start to take off a bit, but it wasn't big like it is here in Ireland, because we have, for fireworks and stuff, you like it, do you? For Halloween and for fireworks and stuff, we always had the 5th of November, which was all about Guy Fawkes. You don't have that here in Ireland. So Halloween is big and I love it. So I have some Halloween related content today. But first I must take a sip of my coffee. Look at my hair. I messed up my hair with that hood. Here we go. I've got coffee. What have you got? Oh, it's a lovely cup of coffee this morning. And do you want to see the whiteboard? I'm doing this in long shot deliberately because there's no point wearing the onesie unless you can see it. And before we started, I thought this is the ideal adult costume, a onesie, because obviously with kids you want to get dressed up a little bit more, but you just put this on over your underwear, you're comfortable, you're so warm, it's just fantastic. I will be wearing this on Monday because I'm going to go and see Psycho with a live orchestra, and I hope I'm not the only one in the room dressed up. That's happened to me before. On to the social media news. Here is my whiteboard for today. We have some sad news. You've probably heard the sad news about Vine. I've got some Facebook news. I've got a new feature from YouTube, which I think will be pretty cool. I've got a Halloween tool. News about Facebook Live. There's some bad news and there's some good news about Twitter. Just to mention, everything's gone wrong this morning. My light fell apart. I have it balanced in a mug here and it's flickering. So if I look a bit weird, we'll just put it down to Halloween. Ooh. Will I do a Halloween filter? I might just go black and white because they're not, we'll talk about that in a little while. What do we think? Halloween-y? I think we go for that. I can't see how to get rid of it now. Thanks, I like the pumpkin too. I can't see how to get rid of what I'm doing now. God, it's all learning with Facebook Live, isn't it? It wants me to block Kate McQuillan. No, I don't want to do that. Right, here I am in black and white because it's Halloween. All the colours on my board make no sense anymore, which is just as well because I really messed up the Instagram one. We've got some Instagram news, LinkedIn news, and I think we're going to... I've drawn a red dot in the middle of the screen as well. Let's see. I'm learning still about Facebook Live and LinkedIn news and a bit more Facebook news. Not as much Facebook as in the last few weeks. Do you see that red dot on the screen just there? Or is it just me? So, on to the news. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, the first bit is that sad news. It's about Vine. I don't know how many Vine users out there. Give me a like if you use Vine or did use Vine, because that's the sad news. It's closing down. I remember when Vine first came out. Vine is a 6-second video app, and what I loved about it was the interface. When you would go in, you could shoot multiple shots and put them together into the 6 seconds. And when it came out, I was like, wow, this is it. This is the best app that's ever been launched. And of course, like lots of people, I forgot about it. I do use it, or did use it, when I train people how to make video, because it's a really easy way to teach people how to put shots together to tell a story. So I'm going to miss it. I'm really going to miss Vine. They are shutting it down in a good way, though. Unlike Blab, who just shut down overnight and we couldn't find our videos, Vine have thought about this in advance. So the app is going to close down shortly. They're going to still have it on the web. They're going to give us warnings so we can download all our videos, but they're going to keep it on the web, the website going for an indefinite amount of time. They haven't said. So we'll still be able to watch the Vine. So if you haven't looked at Vine in a long time, look, there's some brilliant, brilliant videos on there. It's a sad day, but I guess we've moved on. I think Vine was the seeding of Snapchat. Vine was the seeding of Instagram stories. And you can make, hi Marion, do you like it? it makes me happy to wear my onesie when I'm not in bed. So I think Vine did its job. It's just sad to see it go. I'm guessing we all want to do more than 6-second video now. Next, and this is really disappointing to me because when I saw this, I was so excited. Facebook are launching what they're calling masks, but they're basically like the Snapchat lenses. So I'd be able to, during a live video, put on this thing that would be a mask on my face. I know, Unaming, it's going to be really hard for Unaming, just for those of you who aren't watching live, has just said that it's going to be very tough for the young Vine stars who don't have other outlets, although they might be transferring their stuff onto Facebook. Well, you can do what you do on Vine on Instagram. And I always, when they both, because Instagram almost immediately came out with, you know, Snapchat wasn't the first thing they ripped off, with the response to Vine, when you got longer videos, and I think at the time it was just like 10 seconds. But now, of course, you can shoot up to a minute on Instagram. You can do your multi-shots. So there is still an outlet. They're just going to have to transfer their audience, and with their audience move with them. That's going to be an interesting one. So anyway, they're launching these masks, and they're launching for Halloween, and I was so excited. I had plans to do this whole thing with a mask until I read the fine print. US, UK, the UK get it. We don't. US, UK and New Zealand first. And for the celebrities that use the Moments app. So if you've got a verified page, you'll be able to get them and actually wear a fake face during Facebook Live. I will be doing that. The other thing, again, we may not get them in Ireland, that they've launched for Halloween, because they obviously love Halloween as much as me, is they've launched some Halloween style reactions. So you know at the moment you can click a reaction button and you get a happy face, a surprise face, a heart. You can all give me a heart. I love your hearts. You get those. Well, for Halloween, they're going to roll out some special edition ones just for a few days where they turn those into spooky characters. Thank you for all your reactions. And that's going to be so cool. I really hope we get them. It hasn't specified which countries we're going to get. They did something similar for Star Trek recently. Look at all the hearts. They did something special for Star Trek recently, and you had to be a Star Trek fan, you had to like the page, but we still didn't get them in Ireland. And they're just saying selected countries. Now my hopes are, because Ireland was one of the first countries to get reactions, that it might be us. So watch out for those over the Halloween season. Next bit of news is about YouTube. Now, I've been using YouTube almost as long as I've been in business. So I'd say 7 or 8 years I've been using YouTube specifically for this business. I haven't always done a video a week, but pretty close. I'm loving all the reactions, whoever that is sending them. That's so cool. There's an angry face. Don't give me anger. Okay. So here's my YouTube thing. And up until recently, I hadn't managed to verify my website on YouTube. And it's one of those things I put on the long finger, and it was just one silly thing I hadn't done. And I've done it now. And once you verify your website on YouTube, when you run a YouTube video, you can add 2 things. You can add annotations. So if you're not on a phone, you can, when we finish, not now, you can go and look at my YouTube channel, which is Spiderworking. And you'll be able to see that the last few videos I've put up have annotations. So when you're watching it on the computer, it's got a call to action to visit the show notes if you watch the podcast one, or to visit the blog post if you're watching one of the others. These are really cool. I love that. I was so delighted when I verified my website that I could add them. But they don't work on mobile. They've got this other feature that works on mobile, which is called cards. And they were very similar, except it kind of hits an information button. So people had to physically do something to visit your website. They weren't quite as cool as annotations, but they worked. They were a good alternative. And YouTube have just added a new one. And this is an end card. So it sits kind of like, you know, when you're watching the TV and maybe you've recorded it from somewhere else, or maybe you're watching an annoying TV station and a thing pops up at the bottom saying watch blah 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 on Saturday at whatever time. Really annoys me because it usually happens while the drama is still happening. Well, it's pretty similar. You'll be able to add that to the end of your video, which means you can encourage people to watch another video. They're kind of graphic, they're good looking, so not only do they work on mobile, people might actually click them to go somewhere. Now, I haven't set one up yesterday because I just found out about them yesterday and I was busy, I was working last night, so I didn't get a chance to try. But this could be really good. One, for keeping people on your YouTube channel, and two, if they work to send people to your website, that could be great. Of course, the downside is somebody's going to have to watch your video to almost the end to see this. But then they're the people that are most interested and most engaged in what you do. I tell you what, when I upload this to YouTube, because I always do, sorry, I need to look at my costume again. I'm going to try the end card. So you can scroll, I tell you what, this afternoon, I'll leave a link at the bottom of this. You can scroll right to the bottom of the page and you'll be able to click the end card and see what happens. I think it's a really interesting move from YouTube. I've heard people saying YouTube is obsolete. I don't think it's ever going to go away as a de facto place where we store our video online. And all those YouTube stars. Okay, what will we do next? Facebook Live. I already mentioned the masks feature, but they have another really good feature coming to Facebook Live. And that feature is, if any of you use the Prisma app, give me a Y. The Prisma app for your iPhone. I think, a cat's just come in here. I think the Prisma app is amazing. So I've made it a tool of the week once, and you upload a photo and it puts these art filters on it. And the postman's here now. I'm watching to see, does he get a parcel? Please don't get a parcel. No, it's okay. So the Prisma app was really cool. Facebook had a launch during the week where they're showing you that they're going to do these live art filters just like you get on Prisma, but there'll be no upload time. No upload time. How cool is that? So basically, I'll be able to change to one of their art filters, like I changed to this black and white filter because it's Halloween, and you'll be able to see kind of that Van Gogh effect that you get with Prisma. I cannot wait until this comes out. It looks amazing. And I'm going to leave a link in the notes underneath here so that you can actually see it in action, because there's a guy demoing from the stage. It is amazing. I'll check what I'm supposed to talk about next, because I know that I've got this habit of going off on a tangent. Okay, so on to some slightly sad news about Twitter. Good news or bad news first? You could give me a G for good and a B for bad while I just grab some more coffee. A G for good news, a B for bad news about Twitter. G, Marion, I love this, The Optimist. G from Kate Ryan. Hey Kate, thanks for joining us. That's 2 Kates we've got on the call now. Okay, the good news is, I was really worried this week. All good, we all want the good news. That's good, because I love Twitter. Twitter is the best. There was a lot of bad news from Twitter this week, including the Vine closing down. I was getting a bit worried because I can't imagine a world without Twitter in it. Twitter is important to us as a society. So the good news is they've just released their quarterly figures, and usually when they release their quarterly figures, it's bad news. This time they've seen an increase in profits. Let's see if I wrote down exactly what no, I didn't write the increase, not in profits, in revenue. They're still losing money, but they've seen an increase in revenue for the first time, I think, in a very long time. Well done, Twitter. And they've seen an increase in users. So all that work they're doing may be beginning to pay off. Thank you. Thank you. This is great. I'm going to have a party. Twitter will still be here next week. The bad news is, well, the bad news is for people working there. So let's give this a big thumbs down. That they're cutting 9% of their workforce, which is 300 people are losing their jobs at Twitter this week, which is sad. It's sad, and most of those are going from their sales team, apparently. At the moment they're losing, I can't remember how many million, but when I looked at it, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Maybe cutting those jobs will mean, and if they manage to increase their revenue, that they might make profit. And God, don't we all want Twitter to exist? If they had a crowdfunding campaign, I would give money to Twitter for it to stay around. Now, this is an interesting one. This is I'm so glad we're in black and white, because that is the most appalling drawn and coloured Instagram logo I have ever drawn. But there's something interesting that might happen on Instagram. Somebody saw a live video hint on Instagram. Instagram may be rolling out live video. Maybe from now on, no, it won't happen. I might do my live on Instagram. No, I won't. It's always going to be Facebook for me. But this is really interesting, because obviously, yeah, it is kind of unbelievable that they're losing money, Kate. It's kind of after all this time. But there you go. Let's hope that they get it together. Instagram live video will be so much fun. So for those people that have built an audience on Instagram, it's going to be the perfect place for them to go live. It's going to be great. I will watch it. I don't think it's the right place for me to go live. I think I've settled on Facebook. It works for me. This is where you guys, my audience, are. But I'm really excited about the prospect. And we know that Facebook love live video, so it makes sense for them to roll it out on Instagram. And all we need to wonder is, how long will you be able to go? Will you be able to go longer than a minute? Will it be like this? Will you be able to do a 30-minute show? I'm really loving this idea. I really hope it happens and it's not one of those things they test and decide not to do. I'm going to finish quite early today. Right, so LinkedIn. Yeah, I know. We had a yawn fest about LinkedIn last week. LinkedIn are really innovating at the moment. As we know, Microsoft bought them not so long ago, and they're beginning to roll out changes. I noticed an article from Melanie Dodaro, who you should have a look at. Her website is called Top Dog Social Media. There's been some changes to company pages, but to be honest, I use my company page so little, I couldn't really see much difference there. But that's kind of a preempt to, I'm sure, what we're going to see a lot of changes. And the thing about LinkedIn is, in some ways, it's frustratingly badly designed for user experience. So I can see Microsoft fixing a lot of that stuff. So that's going to be good news. One thing that they are doing, and actually the article I originally read about this, I think kind of got it wrong, because I've always thought of LinkedIn as a business-to-business networking tool, and they were kind of hinting that it's always just been a job-seeking tool. And I find that happens a lot. Either people think it's a job-seeking tool or a business-to-business networking tool, when in fact it's both. But they're making a real inroad to bringing more small businesses in. And one thing they're doing this week, bear with me while I get my notes. Got them now, is they're having a contest for small business owners. So all of you out there can join in this contest. They want you to use their ProFinder tool. ProFinder is slightly like Fiverr or slightly like Freelancer. So you can go in there and you can put up, you know, that you want someone to do a certain job, and freelancers can apply. So this is a reasonably new tool from them, or they've recently been promoting it, and they want to get more small businesses in there. So this contest is to get small business owners and freelancers to go in and share your small business story. And we all know every small business has a story. And if you go in there, you win pro LinkedIn for 3 months. But I'm sure that doesn't excite anyone. But there's also a cash prize. I'm going to be leaving a link underneath this video when I finish, so you can read up more about it. I think this is really good. I think it's a really clever way for LinkedIn to move forward. So somebody's been thinking about how they can, in some ways it's sad because they're like Facebook and they're stealing other good bits of the internet and putting it on LinkedIn, but somebody's been thinking about how they can make it better. I think I disconnected for a moment, so you may have lost the end of my thread. Anyway, I'll leave the link at the bottom. And finally, before I go on to my cool tool, Facebook. Actually, if Una Min's still there, it's different. Yeah, it's actually called ProFinder. It's a different site. I will leave a link below and you can go and have a look at that. Now, I know Una Min is a freelance journalist. If there's anyone else there, Facebook have just released training specifically for journalists, which is a really interesting. It's absolutely free. It's on their Blue platform. If you haven't checked out Facebook Blue before, it's great. It's got loads of educational resources. If you want to do an online course on Facebook, it's definitely worth looking there first because it'll bring you through the Facebook way of doing things. And it's good to get that grounding of exactly how they think it works before we try and hack it and make it more interesting. So they've launched specific courses for journalists there. And why are they doing this? Well, as sad as it seems, Facebook want to own the internet, and the one place where journalists love, that the rest of us, well, I love, as you know, that other people don't love so much, is Twitter. So are they trying to court journalists onto Facebook by giving them this free training? Is that what's behind this? Are they trying to steal Twitter the same way and they have tried to steal Twitter with their news, their trending news before, so we'll see what happens there. Could be good, could be bad. Worth doing the training anyway, eh? Totally. Right, so on to Spooky Tool. If you follow my Facebook page, which is spiderworking.com, if you search for that in your search bar on Facebook, and of course you're watching, most of you, unless you're watching on YouTube later, Twitter is where you get most of your journalism gigs, incidentally. And actually, I mean, that's true, because whenever I talk to a journalist, they're all about the Twitter. They're all about the Twitter. So I think it would be a hard sell to get people onto Facebook. That's the thing. If Twitter goes, where are we going to have those conversations? There is a certain amount that we can do on Instagram, but it's not the same as Twitter. Really, as I said before, I can't imagine a world without Twitter. Speaking of which, if you are on Twitter, and if you're not on Twitter, set up an account today. Let's support this network. There's something happening, and it happens every Halloween, and that's people are spooking up their Twitter profiles. So you can say, I'm very blessed to have the name Amanda Webb, because I can become Amanda Cobweb. And I've also created, and this is the tool I want to talk about, and there'll be a more detailed tutorial going up on my Facebook page later. Use PicMonkey. I'm actually going to switch back now to colour. Oh, I look normal. You can actually zombify yourself, or you can put all these Halloween effects. That is currently my Twitter profile picture, so I'm kind of pleased with that. If you want to do something similar, the tool I used is PicMonkey, P-I-C-M-O-N-K-E-Y, and I know loads of you would have heard of this before. It's been around forever. I've used it a lot, I've written about it a lot, but I think it took a bit of a backseat when Canva came out. But it does so much more than Canva. If you're not using PicMonkey yet, or if you haven't used it in a while, go over there, because there's loads of cool stickers you can get. So I've got like I put a moon with a bat over the top of it there, and it's actually got Halloween special things. So I've managed to put the eyes on and some blood dripping out of my mouth. It is so much fun. So I'm looking forward to creating that tutorial for you, which of course I've left to the last minute. I'm going to be doing a new profile picture with some more effects on it. So head over to PicMonkey, try that out. If you do, I would love to see what you come up with. So come post your pictures either on the page or swing by my Small Business Bloggers group on Facebook. Just type Small Business Bloggers into the thing at the top. You'll find my group, request to join, and come and post your spooky Twitter profiles. And if you are a small business blogger, that's a good place to go anyway. Every Friday we have a comments thread. So if you've got a blog post, it doesn't even need to be new, that needs a bit of comment love, that's the place to go. Before I go, finally, if you know somebody that might value my social media news, this particular episode, hit the share button, share it with your friends, share it in a group, share it on your page, wherever you know somebody would like to know about my news. And until next week, woo! That would work better if I knew how to switch it off.